Here we go again, guys. Are you ready for the next section? Woo! Okay, human populations and distribution. Woo! All right, guys. Our next section, here we go. Okay, so I know the last one was pretty long. We had a lot to cover. So let's go ahead and start our last little section here. All right, so when we're talking about age distribution, talking about distribution of males versus females in each of the age groups, we kind of saw this a little bit before. So we're gonna kind of come back to those population diagrams. And we're going to talk again about how that predicts the future. Like I said, we did a little bit of this in the last video, but let's do more of a comparative analysis over time. So in the last video, I gave you guys just the basic, like how to read the, what they call population pyramids. But let's do a comparative analysis to help us to understand what happens over time and how it helps us to understand what's going on over time. Okay, so here is showing me a population pyramid for the 1960s, 1980s, 2000, and now our year. Okay, now when this was produced, this was actually more of a prediction, not a reality, but it's a reality now. So take a look here. 1960 is called the baby boom. Okay, that baby boom. The baby boom happened after World War II. So once all the soldiers came back after World War II, a lot of babies were born, and so they call that the baby boom. So you see how it jumped up the number of children in those years. Okay, now we're going to follow them when those children became of age. Or actually, I'll go down here. Sorry, when those children became childbearing age. Okay, so all those baby boomers, the babies that were born here, when they got old enough to have babies, they did. And you can see what happened here. So here are the baby boomers. Here are all of their children. And a lot of them had children. See how it was almost even? Again, not huge families, but they did have babies. So now those baby boomers are much older now, which is what we see today. And here are their children. And do you see how it's still relatively even? But what I want you to notice is this. Look at the population back here. Look how many older people were alive in the 1960s, 1980s, 2000, now 2020. How do you think that affects our population? Well, think about it. Do you think they had a lot of nursing homes back here in this time period? Probably not, because not many people lived. Do you think we have a lot of nursing homes now? Yeah, we do. What about Social Security? Were a lot of people, and I forget exactly when Social Security came about. So Social Security started about, I think it was like 1935, around the 30s, somewhere around there. So were there a lot of people collect Social Security here? Probably not. So it's the way Social Security works. Young people work. We put money in to help them live. So look how many young people there were helping out the older people. Not so bad, right? Look here, baby boomers. All of them are working now, right? Are they able to support the older ones? Well, yeah. But look what's happening here. Look what's happening here. So this population growth, these baby boomers are now up in age, wanting to collect Social Security. But I mean, our young people are about average, but we're not having, see here how we had an overflow? It's not happening here. So it's a little more restrained on Social Security. So these data help us to understand a lot of what's going on in our population now. Like that's part of the reason why we have some of the issues with retirement and Social Security. And it's a big issue going on with that because of this. We have a whole lot of old people and they're living. I mean, look at the numbers. Look at from 2000 to 2020. Did a lot of them die? No. Do you see how the numbers are almost about the same? They're still about 10%, give or take. Okay, so not 10%, sorry, 10 million people. These are millions of people. You see how it's about the same? So not only are they getting older, but they're living. They're living. Whereas here, a lot of people die when they got older. Not happening here. They're living longer. So we, the young ones here, are working to support these older ones, but there's a lot more old ones. Because think about it, when we talk about older people, you're talking what people, I guess people what retire around 65-ish, 68-ish, somewhere around there. But they're living into their 80s. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of older people that are pulling on the Social Security and things like that. So the point that I'm making is looking at these population diagrams, these population pyramids help us to understand some of the issues we're dealing with as a country right now. And it also helps us to understand why certain decisions are being made. Like why they're pushing for you to build your own retirement nowadays. Why there have been rumors or things being said that, oh, Social Security might go bankrupt. I know I've heard that. Now, whether or not it's 100% true, I don't know. But the point is that is a big concern because of this. And age or population pyramids help us to understand what's going on and why it's going on. So that's the purpose of what we see here. Human population is on what they call a J curve growth. The growth rate of about 80 million yearly. 80 million. This is around the world. So we have a growth rate of about 1.3% every year, give or take, 80 million. That's a lot of people. Now, that's not necessarily, not saying that all people are surviving, because obviously a lot of people are being born who are dying, but that's a lot of people, right? That's a lot of people. So why doesn't environment resistance take an effect? Well, because we keep altering our environment. Think about it, guys. When we have lots of people in the area, what do? We develop. So normally, let's say in this area, maybe 10 people live there. Well, when 100 people want to move in, we take land and we develop it. So now that area that only held 10 people can now hold 110 people because we built more houses. Oh, we got to feed them now. So we're going to either import more food or we're going to get some farmers to make more food. So we keep altering our environment to match the population growth within given areas. Plus technology. We have the agricultural revolution, the industrial medical revolution. Think about our medication. Years ago, doctors didn't know the importance of washing hands. So they would be in one room, person would die of a disease, and then they go into the next room, deliver a baby. So now the baby died. So that kind of stuff affected our population because our medical system years ago wasn't very good. So we were killing off people all the time. Well, guess what? Now we have better knowledge. We know more about, how diseases spread. So people are surviving. More medication. Things that would normally kill a person, they're not dying from anymore because we have medication to help them to live longer. So our older population, going back to this image here, they're living longer because we're keeping them alive. So that's part of the reason why we have what's called a J curve. I'll show you what that is in a moment. Oh, I'm on the wrong slide. In the last 3 centuries, guys, our human population has doubled 3 times. Doubled. 2 times the amount. 3 times in the last 3 centuries. About 6.1 billion, they're estimating can reach 9.3 billion by 2050. That's our estimation. And it's all because of improved health and technology that has lowered the death rates. People are not dying like they used to. They are staying alive a lot longer. Babies that normally wouldn't make it are making it now. Right now, they have technology that a 23-week-old child can make it. 23 weeks. Now, what does that mean? Usually, gestation or pregnancy, is 9 months or 40 weeks is really what is how they count. They count in the weeks. So a baby is in a mother's stomach for 40 weeks. Back in the day, if a baby was born premature, they usually died. Now we have enough technology that if a child is born at 23 weeks, 23 weeks is what? If you divide that by 4, that's what, 4 into 20, it's about 5, a little over 5 months, give or take, about 5, 6 months. If a baby's born around that time period, they can survive because we have the technology to keep them alive. So again, we're keeping our older ones alive. Younger ones, babies are surviving more. All of that coupled together is causing our population to increase dramatically. And this is what it looks like now. So if we look at the history of the human population, it's exponential. We call it a J because it's like the letter J, but it's exponential is really what it is. But the difference is exponentially the curve looks a little bit different. If we go back to exponential growth, just to show you that this is exponential. See how the curve looks a little bit more smoother, a little more even, whereas ours doesn't. That's why they call it more of a J versus exponential. Okay, let's want the letter J. But in any case, look at how low it was for many, many years. Because again, people died. People were born, people died. The plague took out a whole bunch of people. There's a little dip there. But look at this. Incredible. Incredible. So what is our estimated human population of today? The estimation is 8 billion people. So let's think about that now. This slide here said they estimate 9.6 billion by 2050. We're at 8 billion. This is 2020. I don't know, guys. I have a feeling we're going to hit this number faster. I think we're going to hit that number before 2050, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. But yes, our numbers are skyrocketing. So all of those people, think about the density, the amount of, think about how that affects our environment. When you have that many people on the earth, think about pollution, food needs, living needs, because everybody needs a place to live, right? Think about land. Think about all those things, all those factors that come into this equation about our human population. So that's why population dynamics is so important. It's a part of biology because it affects every aspect and affects our environment. Think about all these people and what we are doing to the environment because we need places to live. So, you know, when you're a developer, you're thinking, okay, should I keep the trees or should I build a house? So they build a house because no one has to live there, but if they cut down the tree, what does it do to the environment? What does that do to, what does that do to us? So all of those factors come into play. And as we continue on in the class, we're going to talk about some of the other factors that this come into play. But that is it for human population. So you have a series of activities you'll be doing for this week. Take a look at that. Please make sure you look at my starter video so you know what to expect for this week. But that is the end of this lesson. I know this one was a lot faster than the other one, right? That made it a lot easier. But let's go ahead and end the way we started with a little bit of a jam. I love this song. All right, guys, so there we go. That's our human population. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you online. Hi, guys.